everybody, and welcome to the Katie Weaver Show. I am so happy to be here. Realized I didn't post in the chat room, so I'm doing that quick. I want to welcome you. Today is the 10th of June at about 11 a.m. Pacific time. And if you're listening live, I want to welcome you. If you're listening to an archive or a replay, I want to welcome you also. I want to let you know that I'm over in the chat room, and you can find that by heading over to 12radio.com. Click on the chat button and you'll be redirected right into the Facebook chat. Also, if you would like to watch rather than listen, you can do that by heading over to 12radio, or I do it every week, heading over to YouTube or Facebook and look for Katie Weaver Domestic Mystic. That would be the way to do it. I am going to put a video link in the chat so that you can connect with me there. If you would like, you've probably noticed here in the 12 Radio world that a lot of our shows are streaming over on YouTube now, which is a lot of fun. As you know, I'm a big fan of YouTube and of video. Been doing it for a long time, and I think it's a really cool way to connect and a useful way to connect. So really happy to be doing that. And just happy to be here with you guys. So I told you that I would get some better video for you of the wildlife park. So I went last week again. You know, I did get season passes, so I'm going to be there a lot. But I wanted to share a couple of things from there. So let me get my shorts pulled up here. I've started posting some shorts over on YouTube. Hopefully they're not too intrusive, but I think they're pretty fun. So the first video I have to show you, actually, I did not experience rude, but Scott and Mars went out mushrooming yesterday and came across two different moose that approached them and were right up around them. And so, of course, they brought lots of video back to share because who doesn't want to see moose running around doing cool stuff? So, oh, I hate that. Hold on. We're not going to do it this way. That's too small of a screen. We have options. Let me stop doing that. Here we go. Okay, and there's no audio, so I'll just talk over it. But they had a male moose, a bull, and then just not too long after that, a little cow that were like the little cow here. They said they thought that she would walk right up to the truck. She was that close to them. Now, of course, they were in the truck. We're not going to be silly, right? Definitely not going to be doing stupid things and running into trouble with a moose. Definitely not. Moose can be really, really dangerous if you're not careful and smart. So clearly they were in the truck and just taking film, but isn't that cool? Honestly, anytime I come across a moose, I feel like I have experienced something sacred. And I believe that's true. I think it is something sacred whenever you experience something like that. So pretty cool. Look how mangy they still are. You see all that extra, you can kind of get a look at the side of them. They get a lot of, I'm calling it mange because I'm mean. It's not really mange. I'm not mean, but it's really just, they get a lot of this scroungy stuff on them because it's been winter and they still haven't gotten it all off yet. So it's just their undercoats, but they end up looking pretty scroungy for a while until they burn that all off. They rub it off on trees mostly. So where I live, when you are out in the forest like that, you'll see certain trees and spots that look like they've been rubbed on, that'll have chunks of that undercoat and that hair and stuff on them, which I always think is kind of funny. But no, that little moose that was around my house a few years back, Mars and I named him Lenny because that's what you do. You name wild animals. No, you're not supposed to. No, Lenny never came back. We've never seen him again. I know. Super sad. I had more to share with you, but unfortunately, I don't know if you guys have been having this experience, but I am really struggling with excuse me, really struggling with Messenger lately. And I don't really understand why. But I'm having a hard time even just messaging myself stuff that I needed to save or to use. It's just not coming through. Isn't that weird? Super frustrating. So a lot of things that because that's how I normally do things, is I just message myself with things that I want to share with you guys. And lately I can't do that, which I just really super hate. But maybe I can text it to myself and still share it with you guys. So, but we did go back and we did see the baby wolves again. We saw the baby foxes again. It was so sweet and fun. So maybe if I can get some cooperation here from from the digital tech gods, I can share a couple things with you from that because it was amazing, as you can imagine. I had bear videos to share that I wanted to share. In the meantime, you know that the moon is full tomorrow, so I hope that you guys at least have a little plan as to what you're going to do with that. I'm still not sure. Do I want to do something outside? Do a little full moon ritual? That's what I was thinking about, but I'm not sure if I'm really going to. We had the northern lights again here a couple of nights ago. We didn't experience them lately. I hate to even be this guy, but I've been too damn tired. So we haven't had as much of the northern lights and stuff like that as I wish we had, just out of that because we've been too busy, too tired, too whatever to even go there. But I mean, it's mostly just busy, like life happening. But I would like to. So I don't know. Did you guys have the northern lights? Did you experience them? Hopefully somebody did. Hopefully somebody's doing something with their life. Yeah, Pamela, you don't sleep under the full moon. A lot of people don't. It depends around here. And I did really good last night, so I have hope for myself, but we'll see. Here's a little bear video. Silence the sound on that. This is the female. So these are Eurasian bears, which my understanding is Eurasian bears and grizzly bears are very closely related. Uh, but this is yeah, this is the little female, little. She's quite a bit bigger than the male. And she basically is just kind of wandering around up in everybody's business all the time, trying to talk people into snacks. These bears were raised from babies by the gentleman that owns this place, and I think they get a fair amount of human contact. I know that because when we were there last year, he was feeding her marshmallows by hand. It scares me for him, but I guess it is what it is. But it scares me for him because holy moly, to me, you shouldn't be feeding wild animals by hand, but again, he's had them since they were tiny cubs and raised them, so it's probably just a little bit different situation. But all right, well, I don't know if any more of my wildlife videos are going to come up, but if they do, I will share them. Heck, Am I feeling any more of the increased rumblings? Yeah, we've had a lot of earthquakes around us lately. We don't really feel them where I live. We hear about them more than we feel them or experience them. So I can't say that I really have, but I will say that the collective energy the last few days has been weird and uncomfortable. I thought yesterday sucked. But I was really flat, had a really hard time getting going, having a day. I don't know. Not loving it. I'm going to get Luminous queued up here. So I was thinking about today and what I wanted to talk about. It's the summer solstice we'll talk about next week. We're a little bit too far from it for me wanting to make that my topic. But I got thinking about color. And partly because I'm working on getting my merch together for Pride. So Christy and I are going to do something we have not done in the past. We're actually going to vend at Rexburg Pride, which last year when we were at Pride, we were like, why don't we ever vend at Pride? We should. There was like 4 vendors there. Not enough. So this year we thought, you know what? We're going to vend at Pride, which got me thinking, what do you bring to Pride? Pride stuff, right? And other things. But at least at our prides, you're talking about a lot of young people that don't have a whole lot of money. So you're not going to bring your more expensive stuff. You need to think about that and bring things that they can actually afford and want. And so that's what I'm working on. So I was going to bring my glass pride flags in and show you, but I forgot. But I made these cute little glass flags that I think are going to be awesome. And I'm hoping that they love them. I've got pendants that are similar. I've got pride flag or pride like rainbow styled uh, hearts, big ones and little ones. I'm making some rainbow style like little hangings, window hanging type things. Making some really cute embroidered bracelets that I think are going to be great as well. So I've got stuff, working on stuff, but anyway, who knows? You never know what people are really going to like or want. You can't know. So you just do your best and hope to, bring things to people that they want. And that's about all you can do. But anyway, but working with the pride, with the rainbow colors and with glass, pretty, really pretty stuff. And I only managed to cut myself one time yesterday, so I felt like, hey, that's progress for sure. I know, it's ridiculous. It's completely ridiculous. Someday I might not slice myself up as much. That's the hope. We'll find out. Okay, I do have a picture of these to share with you. So anyway, long story short, because I was thinking about that and just about, in general, color and how important color is to me in all of the work that I do, in all of the art that I do and stuff, and then also in like the energy work that I do, because what's bigger, like in the energetic world, we talk about colors all the time, the colors of chakras, right? The colors of energy and things like that. So it came really forward to me that those are things that I really I could get my head around sharing and talking about color with you guys. So that's kind of what's in my head and my heart. But I want to share these with you. You'll get a little look at my glass room too, and what a hot mess it is. You know I need a bigger studio, right? Right? That's established law around here. Yeah. Okay. I don't understand what's happening here. I need someone who is more computer literate than me to help me understand why my computer is insisting on saving things that are JFFs instead of JPEGs. Because when it does that, then my programs won't recognize them. And I don't understand why that's happening. If it's something I'm doing, or is it like a setting that I have inadvertently set up? I don't know. I don't get it. It's super frustrating, but here we are. So, if anyone, is more computery than me that can tell me why the hell that keeps happening, that would be great. Because it's actually ruining my life. I kid. It's not ruining my life. A little bit it is. Okay. All right. So that's the inside of my small kiln. So that's what they look like. I mean, they're like, well, I'll show you the other pictures so you can see how big they are, but they will just be drilled, a couple holes drilled in them and hung with chains so that they could just hang, like as a window hanging or wherever people wanted to put them. There you go. I'll tell you what, these little shits were a labor of love because cutting thin glass and cutting it straight, that's harder than a lot of things, weirdly. Anyway, that's a little peek into my glass studio too. If it looks like there's a big crack in the floor, that's because there is. We work with what we've got, right? Okay, let's get back to luminous. Sherry says that purple pink on the top left is what I see during sound bowls. Oh, interesting. Gorgeous. All right, let's get into luminous. I'll quit wasting time with not having stuff saved and pulled up correctly. All right. I called the magazine Sacred Spectrum, exploring the vibrational energy of color. I mean, it's summer. Color's exploding around us right now, right? It's a good time to think about the spiritual significance of color and just how color may affect you. It might affect you more than you realize. There's a lot of psychology around color as far as consumerism is concerned. The colors in restaurants and commercials, even, and packaging and things like that, uh, many times are designed with the idea of getting your attention, enticing you, making you feel a certain way. Color's a big damn deal, more than you might even realize. All right, so let's talk about it. The basics of color energy. Well, colors are light frequencies, so they have a vibration, just like everything does. And that vibration impacts your physical senses, your emotional, mental, and spiritual states. Of course, in the spiritual realm, colors are often seen as messengers from the universe, guides from the divine, reflections of our inner energy, or just of your spirit. You ever had an aura picture taken? That used to be a really popular thing. You have an aura picture taken, it's a special camera that's photographing the energy around you, and then somebody can take a look at that and give you a sense of what's going on with your own energy body. That even can be manipulated. I had a client once whose little boy was just, whew, he was amazing, just spiritually amazing. And he could stand in front of one of those cameras and think about what color he wanted to portray. And he would tell you what he was doing and stand there and breathe for a couple of minutes. And sure enough, he would be all violet or all white or whatever. Interesting that he could manipulate that, which really tells you that we probably all can if we were in the right mindset. But he could just do it just standing there thinking about it, because he was a kid and he was awesome. And, life hadn't kicked his ass yet. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. But I always just thought that was pretty incredible. So let's talk about some colors. So red. Red is the color of the root chakra, of course. And you know that that chakra is about safety, security, and your connection to the physical world. Red is a color of vitality, passion, and energy. It's the color of fire, strength, and courage. Our drive to survive and thrive. Red can stimulate action, encourage ambition, and energize the body. A deeper spiritual meaning would be courage, strength, and passion. If you feel like you're lacking in vitality, or if you feel like you're just disconnected from the world, red can help you reconnect to that personal power. Red's a color of grounding, as is black. That helps you to stay connected to the earth and your physical body. So if you're feeling particularly ungrounded, you may consider wearing red or surrounding yourself with red in some way, or even just viewing red or envisioning red. If you need some courage, some determination, a little extra kick in the ass, red can help summon inner strength. To use color therapy, you can do a lot of things. Of course, you can wear that color, right? That's one thing that people do a lot. I can remember my mom having this set of colored glasses. They were like sunglasses, only the entire thing, the frame, the lenses, everything, were out of a certain color. She had a whole set. She had like, I think there was 9 or 10 of them in the set. And so whatever she was working on, she would wear those glasses. I'd go visit her and she'd be over just cleaning the house, wearing red or yellow glasses. But the idea behind them, of course, was that wearing those glasses and looking through them and looking through that color would really help to imbue you in the energy of that color. It's interesting and it does work. I wore them. I tried them out. It's a pretty cool theory. All right, orange, creativity and joy. If you are lacking in joy, really focus on orange. This is the color of the sacral chakra. So the sacral, of course, is right below the belly button or the navel. This is the center of creativity, emotion, and sensuality. Orange is also associated with enthusiasm, playfulness, and social interaction. It invites a joyful and creative energy into your life. Orange helps you to activate that creativity in yourself. If you're feeling really flat, if you're feeling like you're not really, oh, I don't know what the right term is. If you're feeling uninspired, there it is. If you're feeling uninspired, consider orange. It nurtures feelings of warmth, happiness, and social harmony. So wear orange, surround yourself with orange. You could even have some fun with putting different colored duvets or bedspreads on your bed in a certain color that you're working on, or a tablecloth, or a window treatment, or a window, or, a hanging in the window. You need a glass window hanging that's all orange? I'm your guy. Lots of things you can do here. You can also just meditate and picture enveloping yourself in that color. And that's actually super helpful. Years and years and years ago, working with a client whose son was trying to get a scholarship to play a college sport and was running into the challenges that every kid does that's, working on that. And it's very, very emotional and frustrating. It's hard stuff. And you know that I know because I've been down that road with my own kids. So we were doing whatever we could to help clear pathways of communication between him and coaches, get some energy around him that would help attract the stuff that he wanted. And what I was shown was this tangerine light that was very iridescent. It looked like tangerine aura quartz to me. So I wrapped him up in that light. And then every time we worked on him after, I wrapped him up in that light. And sure enough, the hockey scholarship came through. Was that my doing? Not really. Not in the sense that that was his extremely hard work and his parents' hard work. He got the things that he'd earned. But did that light help to attract people to him? I would like to say it did. So I've continued to use that on clients over the years that were perhaps interviewing for a job or trying to attract some new friends or people into their world and whatnot. But it was that orange, that tangerine color with lots of iridescent light amongst it that just seems to be very attractive to other people to draw good things in. Yellow, intellect and clarity. Yellow is associated, of course, with the solar plexus. This is where your self esteem is. This is your center of personal power. Mental clarity. Yellow, of course, is the color of the sun. It radiates optimism and, of course, confidence and self worth. When you are working on trying to improve your own mental clarity, boost your confidence, or even just bring more power and positivity into your life, yellow is a really, really good tool for this. Are there any colors you don't like? No judgment, right? Some people just don't like certain colors. They have some association to them from their past, or they don't like the way they look on them, or somebody has told them, ah, red's not really your color, or something like that that created this belief in you. I highly recommend that you really lean into that, dig into that. It always makes me think about my grandma, my dad's mom. She was the sweetest, kindest woman who really truly cared and worried herself silly about everybody, but she didn't think a damn thing of herself. She didn't. She wasn't raised that way. Her husband didn't foster any of that in her. She wasn't her own person in a lot of ways. I don't think she knew how to be. She would still refer to herself to other people as Mrs. Richard Brower, which would infuriate my mom. She would say, "Your name is Betty. Use your own name. You have a name," right? But that was her generation. That's how it was. You didn't matter. Your kids mattered. Your husband mattered. Your church mattered. You, not so much. You want to know what color she absolutely hated? Yellow. Hated it on herself. She wouldn't wear yellow. If you bought her anything yellow, she'd make you return it. She couldn't stand it. Yellow is a color. She bought a yellow house. She had a huge bush of wild roses growing outside her front door. Yellow. I could see yellow in her world, and I think about it now, the way she wouldn't allow herself to wear yellow. I wonder if that was just too much, too loud for her, too much confidence for her, too much personal power for her. She didn't deserve it in her mind. And yet, in the natural world, she loved yellow. Other things could be that big, other things could be that bright, that beautiful. Not her. I don't know. Food for thought. It just makes me think if there's colors that you just can't do, and I get it, maybe it's your skin tone, maybe certain things don't, you don't think they look good on you. That's cool. Don't wear it. That's fine. But I think it's an interesting opportunity for a deeper conversation into what colors don't you like and why? Is there a true reason behind it? Food for thought. So, again, with yellow, if you need to improve mental clarity, if you want to boost your confidence, bring more positivity into your life, look towards yellow. It's a good color to focus on when you want to tap into inner wisdom or solve problems. All right, let's talk about green. Green's the color of the heart chakra. It represents love, compassion, and healing. Green is considered to be a soothing color. Lots of hospital rooms are heavy on green or other very light colors as well, but light green has been associated in healing as a soothing healing color for a long time, as is light blue. Green, of course, is associated with nature and the heart of the earth and all living things. It embodies the energy of the earth physically and emotionally. Every space I walk into, I want to see some green. I don't care if it's green on the walls. What I really want to see is your plants. But green signifies something alive. When I have walked into places like nursing homes, uh, the hospitals, schools, places where people spend a great amount of time, and you see some green, and particularly for me, potted trees, plants, even fake ones, that brings something to that space, right? Green is healing, but it's also emotionally healing. If you're going through a patch right now, if you're or any time, a tough patch, a period of time where you don't feel very connected to the natural world, or where you don't feel very connected to yourself, or you're just feeling like you need some respite and some rest from the world. We live in a hard world right now. It's exhausting, right? Maybe green. Incorporating more green into your life in whatever way you choose is a great way to help soothe your spirit. Green's also considered to be the color of unconditional love, though that can be contested. Some people see that as more of a pure blue. It's okay, no wrong answer. But unconditional love, compassion, and forgiveness. Green encourages you to release past wounds and embrace peace and love in your heart. I'm going to also say about the heart chakra, though, that, and I wish I would have written this in here, that pink is also a color of the heart chakra. So green is considered to be the color of unconditional love in your heart. Pink is considered to be the color of self-love in your heart. So as an energy worker, when I look at you, I want to see a good balance there. Of course I want to see that unconditional love, and honestly, you guys never struggle with that. You're always green as hell in your hearts. Great, good. But I want to see more pink. That's usually my job, is to try and bring some balance there, because what I want to see there for you is more self-love, more willingness and ability to love and forgive yourself, to take care of yourself, to give yourself the attention that you also need and desire. That's a big one for me. But that's just an aside. So back to green. Surround yourself with green when you need healing or wish to bring more love and compassion into your life. If you got somebody in your life that's sick, that's convalescing, that's injured, maybe a plant, maybe a green blanket or green pajamas, maybe just something green, a green crystal even. You decide. All right, blue. Blue is the color of communication and truth. No question that it is, or no surprise then that it is the color of the throat chakra. Most people see the throat chakra as some kind of blue. This, of course, governs communication, self-expression, and truth. It's a calming color that represents clarity, honesty, and the ability to speak your truth. If you feel like you are not currently speaking your truth, maybe you need a little bit more blue. And my God, there's so many shades of blue that you could think about. What I would do is sit in meditation with the color of blue and let it come through to you whatever way it does. And then maybe you kind of hold that image and you surround yourself in that shade of blue. Just a thought. Recently, I have felt like I'm disingenuous on social media, in that it's easy to share stuff I'm making. It's easy to share stuff that I'm reading about that's fun or funny or uplifting or whatever, and that's fine. I love associating on social media that way. I've been that way for a long time. That's important to me. But you know what? There's more in our world that's going on that's, I don't like me right now, in the sense that I'm just watching atrocities happen in our world and I'm not saying shit. And I think that people have to behave in a way that makes sense to them, right? Like, no shame or no shade on anybody who doesn't feel like now is a good time for them to speak up or say something. Or maybe these aren't hot button issues for you. And that's okay. I'm not here to tell anybody what they have to do. But I haven't liked what I have not done. And it has been out of fear, not wanting arguments, not wanting to piss people off, not wanting to alienate people. We live in a world where we're all just, you know, chomping at the bit to be pissed off and hurt, right? There's stuff going on that I can't keep my mouth shut about. Can we not talk about children that are starving to death all over the world right now, particularly in Gaza and other countries that the U.S. We had a program that brought food to starving children in a lot of really, really beat down areas. And our current administration said, that's not a program we need, and they just redlined it. It's one thing if you want to see other countries become more self sustaining, if possible. Sometimes climate doesn't offer that, sometimes war doesn't offer that, and so on and so forth. If you want to continue to foster more programs for other countries to be able to create more of their own food, great, definitely. But how can you, in good conscience, and how can you support the idea that we just look at programs that are feeding hungry children and go, nah, fuck it, we don't need that, and just redline it? Sorry, kid. We fed you yesterday, we're never feeding you again. Figure it out. How? And how am I not saying anything about it? How? How are we looking at a huge, huge bill that would cut food stamps and Medicaid drastically in this country? More hungry kids. We don't care. I can't not talk about it, you know? I just can't. And if I offend any of you, I don't know what to tell you. I love you. I appreciate you. I can't watch the world burn down and not say something. And I don't like the way I've been doing that on social media when I have a little bit of a voice, a little bit of a platform, and I just stay silent out of fear. That's pathetic for me. For me. So I'm speaking up more. I can see it on my Facebook page that some people like it and some people don't, and I don't know what to say anymore except for that I have to be me. Guess I'm wearing more blue. And I could go on and on about immigration and the horrific things we're seeing right now with families being spread apart and children being terrorized and peaceful, hardworking people that are just here living that are being torn out of the country and their lives being destroyed. And I could do this all day. It's not the topic of the show today, but I was thinking about blue in the sense of me today, that I have to speak up more. I have to use my voice. I can't not. I just can't not. So back to blue. The spiritual meaning of blue promotes clear communication, honesty, and self-expression. It encourages the alignment of thoughts and words with your true inner self. This is an important one. How often have you wanted to say something and the thing that was burning in you wasn't the thing that poured out of your mouth? We've all done it, right? More blue. When to use more blue. If you're struggling to communicate your truth or you need help expressing yourself more clearly, blue can guide you. It's helpful for calming anxiety and fostering peace, especially when you're in situations that require diplomacy and clarity. All right, indigo, intuition and insight. Yeah, I like that, Trish. She said, like the new Pope says, if woke means being compassionate and caring about people is a bad term now, then you can still call me woke. Yeah. Oh, I like it. Tara's wearing blue and yellow. Well, you see, I put on my tie-dye hoodie. I thought this was exactly what I wanted to wear today. I wanted all the colors. Indigo is associated with the third eye. This governs intuition, perception, and insight. It's a deep blue violet hue that helps open the mind to higher wisdom, intuition, and psychic abilities. truly, if you're working on developing your intuition, wear indigo or purple or some variation of the shade that you love. Meditate with it. Definitely put a bedspread on your bed that's this color, right? This is a great color to work with if you're working on your intuition. When to use it? If you are working on developing your intuition, of course. If you are seeking spiritual insight, if you want to connect more to your higher self, or you want to connect more to people that have passed, this is a great color for you. And then violet. So what's the difference between indigo and violet? Well, because we all see color differently, maybe not a lot for you. However, some people see the crown chakra more as white than violet. You decide. There is no wrong answer here. I know there are some that will tell you there is. I disagree. You're going to see both of those in some kind of a purple world. So violet is linked to the crown chakra, located at the top of the head. Again, a lot of people see this as white or iridescent as well. This chakra connects to the higher consciousness, spiritual awakening, and divine energy. This is the color of transformation, enlightenment, and divine connection. When to use? Well, use violet when you want spiritual enlightenment, when you're undergoing a personal transformation. I think when you are trying to sort out what you believe, maybe spiritually or otherwise, but maybe this is the color that helps you get some clarity about what you actually believe and what you don't. You have been being told what to believe since the day you were born. And beforehand, if you want to get into DNA, but let's just start there. From your parents, from your other relatives, from friends, from your school, from people around you, heavily from the media, and from society. At some point, we all take a look at some of these beliefs and decide, what do I actually believe? Do I believe this is true? Do I believe that is true? I think it's an interesting thing as we become older, when we become adults, and then as you get a little adultier adult, or not in my case, that you discover that what you thought you believed may not be true. I think we all go through periods of that every so often. I think it's really normal to go through that every so often. Frankly, I think it takes courage to allow yourself to go down that road and go through those things every so often. Maybe indigo, or maybe violet or white is the light that you want to lean on when you are trying to hammer that out for yourself. Use white. Well, now we're talking about white. See, this all gets very muddy, but it's okay. We're talking about it all because, well, it's all here. White is considered the color of purity, innocence, and divine light. You know, the white wedding dress. You know, I was raised in the Mormon church, and when you go into the Mormon temple, everything you are wearing has to be white except for your wedding ring. Everything has to be white, or perhaps silver or gold. But from your underthings to your bra, everything. Because then when you're in there, you wear your temple clothes and it's all white. And everything inside the temple is white or gold. Everything. It is just awash with white. There is no color. Because it's considered to be the color of purity and divine light and innocence. I'm sure that church is not the only one that espouses white that way, but I always think about as a kid. There is a practice called baptisms for the dead. You may have heard of that. People hear that and they get a little horrified because they think they're baptizing dead people in spirit only. But when I was a kid, we'd go to baptisms for the dead, and it was a whole process. You had to have an interview with the bishop. and prove that you were worthy of going in the temple, meaning you were following all of the rules. And then they'd load us up in vans and they would take us down to the temple. And you had to change, and you could wear whatever you wanted. You had to wear a dress, but you could wear whatever color. Because once you got inside the temple, then they would give you this white outfit to wear in order to do baptisms. And the baptisms were, or the outfit was like this big white one piece polyester getup that zipped up the front. So you had to be sure that you were wearing white underwear and a white bra because those things were super see through. It brings you back, Pamela, right? So then you would sit in this room. Everybody was wearing these, and you'd have a white towel. So all the girls, all the boys, you're all together, and you would watch church videos while you waited until it was your batch's turn to go. And then they take you into this font room that are these giant, they call them baptismal fonts, but what they look like is kind of a giant cauldron on the back of these big bronze oxen. And at least the temple that I went to had those. And at any rate, then you enter the water and there'd be a man there and he would say the baptismal rite and then dunk your head with all of these names of people's ancestors that people had dug up in their family history, and they were doing the baptism for them. So, and you'd have like, gosh, I don't know, about 15, I think. So your turn would last maybe 20 minutes. They would say the thing, dunk your head, say the thing, dunk your head over and over and over. And then you are just soaking wet in these horrible, kind of see through, really heavy once they're wet polyester situations. And then you had to stand on this mat thing for a while and let the water run off of you before you'd be allowed to go and get dressed and then wait for everybody else. But again, everything was white. White marble, everything, white clothing, everything. A lot of religions see it as a sacred color. Tara's wedding dress was red. I love that. Mine was very white because, temple. But yeah. So the spiritual meaning of white signifies purity, truth, and the essence of the divine. It's a color of protection, healing, and spiritual enlightenment. White can represent new beginnings and a clean slate, offering a fresh start or a clear pathway forward. White is powerful for spiritual cleansing, protection, and clarity. So why should you use white? Well, if you are considering making a big change in your life, if you're trying to whisk something away, you're trying to get a fresh start on something, consider white. Wearing white, white decor, it's a good way to get a fresh start, clean something up. And then there's black. Black has been the villain color. It's been associated with the dark stuff, the bad stuff for so many years. And to me, black is a really powerful color. It is mystery and protection. It's not a color of negativity. Somehow it's gotten that moniker, but it's not true. Uh, a lot of people wear black. Yeah, Lillian. Lillian said that her mother only wore white. She was known as the white woman in Washington, D.C., and she was gorgeous. Love it. Lillian said, and I wore mostly black. Love white, can't wear it. I'm not that responsible. I know this. In fact, I just bought all new pants, like capri pants for summer, and they're all black. I just ordered all black and one dark gray because, again, I know me. So black is protective, it's grounding, and it connects to the depths of the subconscious mind. Black helps to trigger introspection and mystery. It can help shield against negative energy. Why do we burn a black candle in houses when we're clearing them? To help absorb that negative energy into the light. It is also a color of transformation, and it holds the potential for new beginnings. So use black when you need protection, when you want to explore the subconscious or seek strength in times of uncertainty. That's pretty simple, right? So color matters. What you're wearing matters in the sense of color. What you are surrounding yourself with matters. Sometimes I think it's important to just think about the colors that are around you, like in your home, your office building, your car, and consider if they're colors that are feeding you. Maybe they used to and they're not anymore. Maybe these are just colors that you inherited with that space. I think every once in a while it's good to consider it and change things out, dress things up. Yeah. Sid said, it's a good thing that jewel tones suit me best. I have a heck of a time keeping whites and pastels presentable. Same, Sid. We are sisters. I get it. Suzanne, I agree. Suzanne says, I've always believed that to those whom much is given, much is expected, including a voice and a platform. At times I need to take a break from social media, but I must always speak my truth. Amen. All right. So there's a little more to that article, but I'll let you read it. But that's where my thought process is around color and how you can use color to benefit you at this point. Kelly's article this week is I Am Not Your Muse. This is a interview that she and Lisa did with the women that are the author and illustrator of the I Am Not Your Muse book and companion deck. Lori Zimmer and Maria Krasinski. They had an amazing conversation with them and learned a lot more about their work, and it's very cool. So be sure that you check that out. My tip this week is a color meditation for clarity. So there's great instructions here about how to visualize colors, how to use color to help you out in a meditative practice. So I'm not going to talk you all the way through it, but you can go and check that out. That's a very easy one to do and a great way to just shift your energy. Christie's Kindred Spirits Energy Oracle reading is Archangel Uriel. Lots of crime over at the True Crime Squad. My God. It's all Lori Vallow right now. She's still at trial. That should wrap this week. Please, God, let it be true. And it's been full of drama because, holy cow, she has escalated her disrespect of the courts to, well, if she was an actual attorney, she'd be in jail for contempt. But she's already in jail, so what do you do with her? It's been pretty wild. Jamie Dawn has a brand new video called Thoughts Become Our World. Lots of meditations over at Planet Meditation. And there you go. That is Luminous this week. That is what I'm working on. Jess said her wedding dress was an ombre gray black. It's beautiful. It made me feel so beautiful wearing it. Love it. Love that. I like how we're getting away from traditional things a lot. Do you know how many people don't have a diamond wedding ring anymore? That used to be like, I swear to God, a prerequisite, right? We all had to have the gold or silver or gold or white gold band with the diamond of some sort. And then people started saying, you know, the way these diamonds are coming to be actually super sucks. And human beings are being exploited for these diamonds. And we started calling them what? Blood diamonds, right? I mean, it's one of people's biggest arguments with Elon Musk is that his father's wealth came from blood emeralds. So a lot of people started saying, I don't really want a diamond in my wedding ring. Maybe I want something else. Maybe I want something lab created. Maybe I want, yeah, Tara has a sapphire. Maybe I don't want any of that. I love how we have started bucking tradition in a way that I think needed to be bucked. We follow tradition because we were told to, right? And because that's how everybody else did it. That's what everyone expects from you, maybe. Or maybe it's what you expect from yourself because that's how everyone else was doing it. But I love that people are looking at some of those things and going, that's not for me. I'm going to go my own way. Good for you. More of that. I want to remind you guys that I am a professional psychic advisor over at 12listen.com. I am on a contract with 12listen, and so if you want a reading from me, that is the only way I can connect. But I am there every single day, and I would love to connect with you guys if I can help you in any way. Just go over to 12listen.com and you can look for me, Katie Weaver. I am there doing energy work, psychic readings, animal communication, some mediumship. I'll help you in any way that I can. And I'm there every single day. Now, if you do head over there and you need to speak with me and I'm not available, all you got to do is a callback request or a scheduled call. When you do that, I get a text that lets me know that, hey, somebody's waiting for you. You need to make yourself available, and I will as quickly as I can. So if you need me, let me know. But I think you'll discover that I'm there most of the time anyway. But I would be happy to connect with you and help you out. That is just how that worked. Worked. Still works. Alrighty, guys, I gotta go. It's been great to be here today. Thanks so much for listening. I will be back next week, same place, same time. Until then, please take great care of yourself. Have a good week. Have a happy full moon, if that's a thing. You've been listening to the Katie Weaver Show here on 12 Radio, where we're changing the way you listen to the world.